Okay, so we are down here at Stockport Golf Club and we are with the one, the only Mr. Matt Rice from Craft Golf, expert fitter and all-around lovely chap.
So we just did 3 quick tests, okay? So wingspan with your height, and then your trail arm, you're nice and tall, and then your trail arm fold pattern, okay? So we measured your lower arm and upper arm, and saw that there's a little bit of disparity in terms of the length of arm. It's not a problem, everyone's very different, right? Very, very few people are the same upper and lower arm, okay? And then we looked and we did a quick test in terms of how your right arm or how your trail arm folded. That's going to give me an idea about what I should expect to see from here. And then anything really kind of jumps out as not matching up, then we can kind of step in and help you from there.
Okay, so we've got 30 yards, just a lob wedge. All the Vokies don't want to go without a fight, clearly.
40, 45, 43 and a half launch angle, spin rate pretty consistent. What we're saying, it's not a very fast shot that we're playing here, so we're not going to expect to see loads and loads of spin at this distance, right? Carrying it around 40 yards as well. So this is our base level that I get to have a look under this slower speed. What's the club doing? How's it going through as we've seen them from the divots? And then we're going to start to put you into a couple of different grinds to start with in our 60s. And then you can start with 58 actually is what we've got in the fitting system. And then we can start to go for that. And what I want you to give me is just how does it feel? So here we're just going to put in a C grind, standard weight distribution. So 2 gram in the toe, 2 gram in the heel, and an 8 gram in the center. I've just put the kind of standard S400 shaft in there, similar to what you've got. Yeah, we use a reverse thread, so if the shaft is completely out and you hit it off the toe or the heel, the club will spin. So don't worry about that if that happens, right? It just gives us an indicator of what's happening through strike. So as you were before, just hit a couple.
What's the C grind?
So this is a C grind, yeah.
And what's the C grind? Is that a...
So C grind really is our kind of less aggressive is the best way of saying it in terms of the grind that's on the club. So we've got to think not only of bounce, but also of grind. So the shape on the bottom of the club and how it interacts with that turf. You see how that kind of zipped through the ground? Yeah. And doesn't get stuck, and you then don't need to use your handle to bring the club back out of the ground.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That was interesting, because that was like a little bit slappier actually. That was a little bit more towards the toe. Yep. Still seems to come out quite well, but so what's going on here?
So here I'm just making sure the weights are in the correct position to start with, so make it neutral, right? So I've got a 2 gram weight in the heel, 2 gram weight in the toe, and an 8 gram weight in the center.
And you would change these to change CG?
Yeah, basically. Okay. So, and how you deliver it will then, we can move these around to give you a much more consistent strike as we move that weight around, right? But to start with, if you see there, that's set up same way. So we're going to go from a C grind into the T grind now. And when you look at the bottom of the club, you can see how it differs. Yeah. So we have almost like 2 parts of grind, 2 parts of bounce. That's quite cool. Yeah. And you can see this is a little bit more aggressive in this edge here compared to what we have where it starts later in the C and not quite as aggressive. And as we go through into V and D, we can see that as well, right? Nice.
Yeah, that just kind of nipped it straight off the top there, really.
Yeah.
So this is, wow, holy moly, that's...
So we've got lots and lots, quite an aggressive move. Almost like a double bounce.
What is going on there? Which maniac designed that? Out here grinding.
And for this type of shot, it's exactly what you want to have.
this, ladies and gentlemen,
this is exactly what we want.
This is exactly what you want to have. I was that wet. I came pretty much halfway around the world to dry out. But before that, we travelled down to the south of England to carry it on.
After that epic soaking, we went a few days later to Purley Downs Golf Club near London to continue the fitting. Firstly, we had to try and figure out what the gapping would be between the wedges. Even though I could have put the same loft as in my Vokeys, there was no guarantee the Adele wedges would go the same distances. This part of the fitting was very complicated and involved me hitting 6,000 shots with every possible loft and weight combination until I couldn't see straight. Interestingly, we found putting more weight into the heel of the wedges allowed me to hit a more consistent fade on the full swings and not hit the ball left. This was slightly counterintuitive, as to me placing more mass towards the heel of the club should cause the face to rotate more around that point. But it was working, and that is really what matters in this fitting. Maybe my swing is just broken. On the course, it was all about figuring out how the different grinds affected the turf interaction on full shots. They were a very different feeling than the Vokeys, but also super duper spinny. I've not done a comparison yet, but I'd be shocked if they didn't spin more than the Vokeys. Overall, it was an amazing fitting experience, and thankfully, wonderfully, they arrived a few weeks later, just before I headed out to Abu Dhabi.
And here they are. So I got fitted into 3 wedges, a 50 degree, a 54, and a 58. The 50 and the 54 are both T grinds, while the 58 is a C grind. As mentioned, there's more weight in the heel of these clubs. The shafts are the C taper 120s, and they're just in a stiff, so not an X stiff, getting old. But I think I'm gonna put my Jumbo Max grips on these ones as well. Overall, the fitting was super interesting, and there's so much to learn from it about weight position, about grinds and all the rest of it. Hopefully some of that got across in the myriad of conditions that we faced, but I'm very excited. Also slightly nervous about putting these in the bag. I mean, they are replacing a club which I absolutely love in the Vokey SM8, but I really want to make sure that I am trying more of these niche brands and give them a chance in the bag, exposing them to you guys as well. So I've got my first round coming up with these very soon. Cannot wait to see what they're like on the course and show off their performance, hopefully a little bit more to you guys as well. Like the video, subscribe, see you next time.